Brake failure is a terrifying thought. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, brake failures account for approximately 300,000 crashes each year. I'm Jane Ubel, and this is episode 14 of Throwing Your Parents Under the Bus. Me today is veteran crash investigator and driver safety expert Mike Pehl, and our social media expert and keeper of our enrichments, Natasha Johnson. Now I'm going to hand things over to Natasha, who has an observation from a student about brake failure. Go ahead, Natasha.
Thank you. So it's Mason from Cohasset shared a story with us that his mom had shared with him. He asked her about her scariest driving experience. It was the time she lost her brakes. She drove home cautiously and slow while Mason's dad helped her get home safely. This is one of my biggest fears while on the road, having your brakes go out. Mike, what advice do you have on this situation?
Well, just let's talk about the brakes in our cars, okay? So, with today's technology coming up, I don't want to say that our new electronic emergency brake is better than our old ones, because I don't think it is actually, from what I can see, because being in the driver's ed car, I've used all three kinds of brakes you will encounter in the car. First of all, if you have brake failure, it's usually caused by a puncture in a line, and your car just will not be without brakes. That does not happen. All right, your brake pedal will actually go really faster to the floor. As fast as fluid runs out of the line, the faster the brake pedal will go to the floor. So if you don't just instantly be without brakes, like the student said, my dad had to help my mom home. The more you pump that brake, you'll pump it back up. But keep in mind, if you got a brake line broke, it's pushing fluid out, and it needs fluid to close what we call a caliper, which means nothing to you, most of you, but anyway. So
now we know.
Now you know. Okay. So let's just talk about emergency brakes, guys. This is something we need to teach our young people when they get in the car. And if you are a driver that have never experienced using your emergency brake, why are you going to wait until you're coming to a stop sign at 70 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, and you can't stop? What are you going to do at that point? Panic and hit a brake that you don't have? No. Get yourself into an empty parking lot. Get up to 5 miles an hour. So let's go back, and you need to test your brakes out here. All right. Emergency brakes have nothing to do with your main brakes. Okay. That's why they call them e-brakes, emergency brakes. You either have a pedal on the left side of the car, excuse me, on the left side of the car that you push down. And then you have a lever that you pull to release that emergency brake. Guess what? If you had one hand on the steering wheel, one hand on the lever that releases the brake, and then your left foot pushing down the brake pedal right in the parking lot, all right, you can actually hold the lever out and work that emergency brake pedal just like a brake. So if you just push it down, it'll lock. But if you don't keep the handle out to release it, it's going to lock. But if you keep the handle out, it goes up and down just like a brake. All right. Same thing when you either have the pedal on the left, or you have the lever in the middle of the car, lever. And at the lever, it's got a button at the top, right?
Yep.
So this is how I teach hill driving with a stick. Get on the hill, pop your emergency brake, put your emergency brake on, hold your thumb on the button, and when you feel yourself starting to grab in the car, release the brake. Okay? So same thing. When I'm coming up, the emergency brake is only your back tires. That's all it is. It's a cable that goes to your back tires. So good idea that we all should every now and then you get in your car, don't crank down or pull up on your emergency brake because they rust and corrode over time. We should use them frequently, just a little bit to keep it loose. So otherwise you crank them on, and if they're frozen and corroded, especially in the winter, you know, you don't want them to lock up on you. So by loosening them up every now and then, that's good for them. All right. So you got your pedal on the left side, or you got the middle handle. And like I said, get into a parking lot and just try it. You will be amazed that now you have another set of brakes. 300,000 accidents a year, people. Look at that. So we know there's 300,000 people that don't know about that. And those are the ones that had the brake failure. Okay. Which meaning we could have millions of brake failures, or hundreds of millions of people now, because our podcast is so huge. No, I'm just kidding. Well, hopefully you guys all going to tell friends, and now we're going to get huge just because of this one. So now we got our new cars, which has the little button in the middle. It's called the electronic emergency brake. All right. Now I want you to do this in your car. If you pop that at 5 miles an hour, it's going to stop you. All right. Then I want you to get up to 30 miles an hour. Not with any cars. This is in a parking lot, nobody around. Now get up to 25 or 30 and pop it. It's not going to stop you. It's going to sound like your anti-lock brake. It's going to slow you down. All right. And to release that, you actually got to put your foot on the brake now and push that button down. So every manufacturer engineers different things. So they're not all going to be the same. That's why we have levers, we have pedals, and we have buttons. So every car, we need to teach it with our students, your sons, your daughters, wives, husbands. Because I hope when you're coming up behind me and my family, and all of a sudden you put your brake pedal on and there's nothing happening, I'm hoping I'm not your target. I'm hoping you know what to do to at least minimize that crash by slowing that car down to the best you can. And then hopefully you will target an area that's going to hurt people, meaning a ditch, a field, whatever. So there you go.
That's great. I not necessarily know that, and I'm going to have to test that out because I think it's a
Yes.
great, like you said, Natasha, fear of, it really gives you a second option.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you know what I love about that is this came from a student. This came from a little tiny in classroom from a 14 or a 15-year-old kid that we gave an assignment to. Go ask your mom what the scariest thing that happened to her or him or your dad when they started driving. And here's what it comes up. It doesn't matter how many years ago, but guess what? And then you get the statistics out that 300,000 accidents. So people, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It makes us all, we need to become more defensive driving out there because of that, because we don't know where that person is. Are they coming into a red light and their brakes are out? Are they coming in behind you and their brakes are out? Or, so we got to find that person as a defensive driver. And then if you are that person that does have the brake failure, do you know what to do? So big tips. I love it. It came to come from a kid at that age. That's cool. I like it.
Me too. Well, thank you very much. All right. Well, I guess that's it for this episode. I thought it was terrific. And our episode of Throwing Your Parents Under the Bus. And we thank you for joining us. And we hope you learned something too. Maybe we'll find out some new statistics in a few years if word gets around. Anyway, if you want to watch other episodes or send us a note, please go to drivesafe.ridesafe.com or check out the links below. We look forward to seeing you again. Until next time, we are
Want to drive safe?
Ride safe.
Very good.
You point later.
You were supposed to say .com, I think.
.com. Anyway.
There you go.
All right.
Bye, folks.
Bye.
Have a good one.